co-partner here is Josh, and we're going to present to you a DApp that allows for self-governance in real estate. So first, let's start off with a story of mine, and my co-founder here has a similar story himself. I bought a house a few years ago, and what ended up happening was that I wanted to make it as an investment. I saw that, these were the fixed costs. This was my mortgage cost. It was doable for me, and I felt like I could make a profit. However, what ended up happening is that the company that built that house transferred it over to a basically corrupt organization, and the board of directors were committing fraud. They were funneling money out of our reserve fund, taking money out of places where they really shouldn't even have access to be able to be authorized to take money out, for example, from our reserve fund, and many other places. Like, they were giving contracts to their own friends for vendors, and they were paying double the price, probably getting kickbacks. And beyond that, when we actually found out about this, it took us about 2 years to kick them out. That's ridiculous. Not only the fact that it took that long to kick them out, but also the fact that we had no mechanism for access control on what type of funds that they were accessing. And that's really what drives home the need for self-governance in this situation. You have collective real estate ownership, which means that people own their homes, and yet they don't have the capacity for self-governance on the funds that are supposed to be for them. And that's ridiculous. So Ethereum itself has 6 million users. Toronto also has 6 million residents, and for the most part, they all live in collective housing like this. That means that if you can just get Toronto to adopt this mechanism, you just doubled crypto adoption. And that's really what drives home the importance of this particular idea and this particular prototype, is that its capacity to really drive mainstream adoption is large because you have this very painful problem, and you have a mechanism for delivery to the market and sale to the market that is very fast. So here are some financials. One building, you can say, has about 1,000 units, and let's be optimistic. In Toronto, house prices are much higher than this, but let's say each unit sells for $500,000, $500,000. That's a total value of $500 million per building. Now, people like me, when we make an investment, when we buy a house like a condo, we make the adjustment that realistically there's a probability that the board of directors will commit fraud. And so we usually get a discounted price on those real estate assets because the price pressure is downward, because everyone prices that in. If you didn't have to price that in, if you had a mechanism from stopping that, you could create genuine value. And let's say optimistically it's only 1% higher, which is a low end. That's still $5 million in value, and that's a very minimum value. So this has financials backing it, this has pain points backing it from customers, and we have a solid team that can actually develop and deploy this. And we'll show you the prototype next, but I want to highlight that Josh is a front-end wizard. He's also a DevOps person. I myself am a back-end Solidity developer with background in applied cryptography, and I'm a real estate agent that genuinely has had these experiences myself and has an intuitive understanding of the industry, having sold many properties. So now it's time for demos. Let's go over the contract really quickly. So the contract is fairly simple. It has a mechanism for proposals right now, and these proposals can be to remove board of directors, add vendors, remove vendors. We have access control mechanisms, and we have an ability to create that proposal, vote on that proposal, and execute on those proposals. Deploy this into mainnet quickly, and then add superfluid integrations to allow individuals to stream funds into the DAO. That can be used for the reserve fund or other miscellaneous expenses, and also introduce yield farming later on with that reserve fund itself. We also want to have visualizations for high financial auditability, maybe provide off-ramps to easily integrate the funds that are stored in the crypto accounts into vendors, and vendor management systems and DAO proposals that are more nuanced in terms of voting for vendors, and a more formalized process around finding a vendor and a sort of competition amongst multiple vendors for a contract. Thank you.